things, and then
Trust me.
like this is actual thing. Like people, just because I want my family to be blessed, doesn't mean they're not gonna go through stuff.
Yeah.
Like, especially like even stuff like mental health, like until it hits close to home, you're like, oh, right, okay, this is serious, bruv. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a thing of like, oh, our brothers don't go through stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Man, them go through PTSD, depression, breakdown.
Yeah, these everyday stuff, and that's it all goes down to communication. Even understanding your family's lineage in terms of illness.
Mm.
Like obviously, like okay, like my dad passed away from prostate cancer. That could be passed down.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I need to make sure, okay, I'm doing the checks. Because if you don't catch it early,
yeah,
then the
it's
likely,
bro, that's another conversation as well. It's scary though, because I think they say like, I think the most predominant one, like they say with men, like prostate cancer, but I think it's from maybe 40 onwards, I think.
yeah. But I'm saying, obviously, knowing that my dad's had it, obviously my older brother, he hasn't had it, and he's 40 plus. Okay, so you skip a generation, bro. Could it be me?
Yeah.
So really, I need to be taking those steps to get checked. Do you know what I mean? I can't be naive to the fact that I don't really think it's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
I need to check it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Often enough, because again, like even back to what you're saying, like conversation about like when things happen, especially death, then you start having conversations about medical history.
That's it.
And like for me, my thing that I've been mostly aware about that I kind of talk about a lot is like things like sickle cell. Like I never understood the severity of it until my mom passed.
Yeah.
Like even to the extent of like, okay, how sickle cell works. It's like, someone has sickle cell, I have the trait. So what does that mean for me? So that means now, like when it comes to family planning, choosing a partner, I have to bear that in mind. But what I mean by that is like, I've got a trait. So just briefly, because that's a whole nother conversation in itself. Like if I've got the trait, which is so sickle cell is SS.
Yeah.
That's the what they call the genotype SS.
Yeah.
Some of SS means they have sickle cell. They're sickle cell carrier.
Yeah.
So and again, so it's like my dad was AS. So two S's will form a child who has sickle cell. So or if a part, say that two partners, one has AS and other partner has SS. So what happens is the child can either be AS or SS, but because there's three S's in the setup, it's a high risk of sickle cell.
Yeah.
But fortunately for me, I only
You're an AS.
I'm AS, yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like, for example, like finding a partner now, or let me not say finding, as if it's like settling down now, I've got to make sure, okay, do you know your trait? Like, if you're AS, then I just know that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's not
exactly.
a no-go, but I know that it's a higher risk.
Yeah, because essentially then if you was to look at the pairing, there would be 2 or 4 in it, 2 S's or 4. And then you're rolling the dice, really. It's 50-50.
And I'm not gonna gamble with like life like that. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
again, all these things that I wasn't aware of. So like, and these are things that we need to be talking about more. Like again, God willing, we're young men growing up, gonna be healthy. But bro, man,
Yeah, and that's it. That's the one thing.
Life, bruv.
That I guess obviously that's the one thing I've learned from death is okay, I really need to know more about my family's history, medical history, and even like obviously with COVID and everything, yeah, it's all subject. Obviously, whether you take it, you don't take it, completely up to you.
Yeah.
I've taken it. They're asking you, raw. Do you have any allergic reactions to X, Y, and Z? Yeah. I say no to everything. Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even know, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have a clue. I'm just like, no. The only thing I know, okay, I got asthma, but that's about it. Yeah. But I don't know if I'm. Bro, I don't know, innit? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I genuinely don't know, and but it's kind of scary in the sense that you could put something in your body and not know if it's gonna kill man off, or if it's gonna have like some sort of allergic reaction. Man, just say no. But again, this not that way in June. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that's something I'm paying more attention to now, following the death.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's also a thing of like, because like, of course, like, you know what it is as well. Yeah, sometimes we can go into this kind of like rabbit hole of thinking, oh, what might I have? But the thing you do know about, for example, like, okay, your dad passed away of cancer, so for you, it's like when the time comes, getting those checks.
Yeah.
So focus on like getting the checks of what you do know.
Yeah,
You
because I
know.
think I'm gonna get checked. Well, I've been meaning to anyway, but twice a year that's what I'm gonna be pushing for,
Mm.
just to make sure. Obviously, because again, having a family, there's
Yeah,
responsibility.
yeah, exactly.
Nothing can be left to chance, or nothing can be left to laziness.
Yeah, yeah. I guess for you, it's more so like, yeah, well, it should be for everyone, but for you, it's more so because I've got family now. There's no. We'll just see. I have to know.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm trying to
yeah.
say?
If you're by yourself, fair play. You get me. You can be nonchalant. You can do whatever. Roll the dice. You get me. Do your thing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
by
yeah,
yourself in it. There's no independent. There's no dependence on
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
Whether it's financially, emotionally, whatever the case may be. Obviously, you're gonna have family. It will be affected, but you live your life in it accordingly. But for
yeah,
me, my particular circumstance and position, I need to have that check done.
yeah. You have to make sure everything is kind of like organized. And to be honest, even you're right in saying that, like, if you don't have a family, maybe you're not so much. You don't really care much about it and stuff like that. Now, but I think it's good to get into that habit. And I think for me, I'm thinking about these stuff now because of everything. Like, obviously, because I know, like, listen, people don't live forever. Like, and I know, like, we can't necessarily control when it's our time, but again, it's all about like quality in it. So I know, okay, listen, just do these checks. Like,
Yeah,
of course, it doesn't mean anything, but you just, as you go along, again, you might have certain bumps, but
yeah,
as you go along, like, sort them out, address them, knock them on the head early on as much as you can.
yeah.
Do you know what I
Trust
mean?
me,
So,
because I've heard too many stories. Like I remember I was speaking to one of my colleagues, and she said, her dad had a cough,
mm.
but he used to smoke, and he was a
Oh,
big
okay,
smoker. And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
right, okay, it's a smoking thing, but he stopped smoking for a bit, and he still had the cough. His wife was like, no, go and get checked. He's like, no, obviously it's just whatever. It's cold
mm.
outside. Probably just got cold. And she said, no, I still think you should get checked. Turns out, man had cancer. Mrs. Uncle, well, one day, oh, I got a pain in my back. Oh, it's probably just because I've been busy non-stop, the
Mm.
chair, whatnot. Turned out he had cancer. So a
That's
lot
what
of
scares me,
thing,
though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
Like, just,
a lot of, see, the signs isn't always something, that's out there. Sometimes it's as simple as a cough. Sometimes it's as simple as a backache. But you have to get checked. Or you just have to go to the doctors. I'm sure black people don't go to the doctors. It can't just be me because I don't go to the doctors personally.
yeah, I know. The thing is, I'm trying to get into habit of now just having a thing of like, right, with everything, okay, cool. Even something as little as like, okay, dentist twice a year, get checked up. Even with that, obviously, some people might say it as a big deal, but even stuff like, oh, you go to the dentist, they tell you, not me, my thing is coming. No, no, really. Before people start thinking like, yeah, no, they start saying, okay, cool, early signs of gum disease, blah, 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 pattern that early. Because,
Early.
bro,
Bro, bad breath.
bro, sort it out early, because what you don't want is like years down the line, you've ignored the dentist orders, and then now you've got a missing, something, you know what I'm saying? You've got, it's gone to the point where like you can't go back now.
That's it.
So everything is about, okay, so get these checks early, like do these
Yeah.
things early, and
Yeah.
it's mad. Like, even just on our last note with these checkups, I met a guy through Clubhouse one time. He survived prostate cancer,
Yeah.
and obviously he was saying like usually I think he was in his 40s, isn't it? I think they say, I don't know the specific age, but I think they say around that time, in it. That's
Yeah.
when men start to like
Boy.
check. And but it's scary. I'm not gonna lie, it's
Yeah.
scary. I'm just thinking, bruv,
Well, that's
it's
it.
scary, innit? But like I said, you just have to like do these things. Like, if you spot something from early, like, just go get it checked out. Like, I think especially now at the point as we're getting older, some of us can have more responsibility, whether that's family, or we just want to just make sure we can have a good quality of life whilst we're here, in it.
Yeah.
Do
And
you know
then
what I
this,
mean?
before we move as well, you know why it's important to go just to get checked up? Because that habit then gets passed on to your children.
Mm,
Because children aren't immune as well. They're not, anyone can get it. That's the
mm,
thing. Kids get cancer, and that's the more sad stories.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So if you make it something regular that you do for yourself,
Mm.
it's going to be something that you'll have for your kids, making sure they get checked up.
Yeah.
Because again, you don't want one of your failings to affect your
Yeah,
kids.
exactly.
So if you get checked up, the likelihood is that yes, your kids you will take them to the doctors for them to get checked up. So do you know what I mean? Because I've seen kids who've had cancer, and it's just sad.
Yeah, I kind of it's very unfortunate because there's no like, I think there was this guy, I think his daughter like I think
Yeah, the social media guy.
yeah. That was sad, man.
And he
Not
like
gonna
raise
lie.
money and stuff.
Yeah, like it's when I see that I'm like, damn, like it's just I'm not saying anyone deserves it, but it's like a kid, man.
I know. That's what I'm
Do you know what I
saying.
mean? Like life hasn't even begun yet.
Life hasn't begun.
Like honestly, that's what, and it all boils down to we can only just do what we can for ourselves. So like you saying, talking about death, sorting out life insurance, make sure not leaving anything to chance, because all you can do is control your own life and just ensure that things are put in place so that if God forbid, if anything does happen, listen, I've done, I've put things
because like
into motion. Like
I know a guy, obviously he's no longer here, he passed away. Financially, everything's patterned. Family's set. Yes, it doesn't rid the pain and trying to understand it all, but I don't know. I think like in your last days, there's a peace of mind. I can only imagine there's a peace of mind. Or well, I think if in my final hours, if I got hours and I would kind of feel like raw. Personally, knowing that okay, yes, I know it's going to be hard. But if I knew you guys were set, I'll be more at peace on that bed. Do you know what I mean? Because I know
I get that.
I've done my bit.
I get
it's gonna be hard. Obviously, you gotta agree, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I know I've just done my bit,
yeah, no, I get that. Still.
I can go out. You get me? Okay, if I gotta go, I gotta go. In the end, everything should be okay.
And that's what you would want, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't want any regrets. I don't want any regrets. So that's
what
why.
You want. You just want to know, like, cool, like, not to even wish it happens, but you just know, okay, look, that house is there, so that one inherits it, or there's the mortgage is there, someone takes over the mortgage is paid off, because that obviously there are things in place, like, cool, if you life insurance, there's mortgage, I don't know what it's called, but insurance you can get on your mortgage. If something happens to you, the mortgage is paid off, so okay, that's one property your kids inherited, and then you know that, and if they want to get something else, like it's patterned. Do you know what I mean? So all these things, but it's important, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely be having those conversations. Look, I'll be letting them people know. Look, this is the will day. Go to reviewing.
Bro, even
reviewing the will. Obviously, we've got some more assets and whatnot.
I even want to. I don't know. I even want to get someone who's like a will and I want to get them on a podcast.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Still, yeah.
Can I just kind of share insight on like, bro, setting a will, like the process, or just different stuff along those lines, innit? Like, because again, these are things that are important, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like
even debt, because I can only imagine, I can only imagine that people have debt secretly and they don't share with their partners, and it's only when they get written off, obviously not to be morbid, that partner becomes aware of it.
I'll be fuming. I'll be fuming, like, bro. I'll be fuming.
Trust me. So again, even that is a process. It's like, okay, bro, how do I manage this financial strain now that maybe I've lost someone, and maybe potentially if they was the breadwinner. How do I manage this financially if we still got a mortgage? Because if you weren't financially set up, how do you balance things then? How do you go about approaching things? How can you get these things written off because your legal spouse, does it get transferred?
I'm not sure, but I think,
or does it doesn't die with you, does it?
Do you know what? I'm not sure. I think it depends on, but I think certain debts you can have it written off if like someone's been passed off due to death. I'm not sure in it. I guess the debt like mortgage. Well, I guess in that case, the bank will take. I don't know. Take the. I don't know the ins and outs.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So even that would be dope, just to even get someone there just to talk about.
That's peak. Take the thing back. But these are things that things that are important. Like as well as aside from life insurance, but like if you have assets, how's that divided? Because again, it's like the importance of a will. Because I don't know, some people with family, it can get a bit what's the word? I get a bit messy. Someone saying, okay, should have been left for me. Actually, no. But then
Yeah.
that's why if you have a will in place, no
Yeah.
one can come and say, oh, actually, this is mine. This is
Trust
what's
me.
been set up. Do you know what I mean? Because
That's it. Make sure you get married.
we've seen
Make
things
sure you
happen,
only got kids with one woman, because hey,
bro.
gets
Like, there's a lot.
techie.
There's a lot of things like that that are that that you don't think about in it when you pass away, and even just like again, I'm just running up with this whole like idea of this whole pursuit of happiness. Yeah, when it comes to like grief, again, I think it's just this. You just move with the grief in it. Like you
Yeah.
along the way, you define your own happiness. So that could just mean the simplest of things. Like you might have been able to. Well, let me not even speak for anyone else. Let me just speak for myself. Like happiness for me is like being able to go to a restaurant that my mom that the last restaurant I went to I went out with my mom with. I was able to go there and not feel the type of way.
Yeah.
For me, that's a small step. I'm happy. Or happiness is for me was like when I found out she passed away. I was like, bro, I said I'm done. I'm never gonna be happy again. And I'm chatting. I'm smart. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I'm not feeling it, but
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? But it's like thinking that happiness and grief can coexist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's different for everyone, man. And I think one thing I will say to people is like just take it one step at a time. Like it might have taken me 6 years to get to this place of happiness again. It might take someone 6 months. It might take someone, okay, and granted it's short, 6 days, or it might take someone 10. Everyone is different in it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just go at your own pace, and just along that journey, just figure out what it means to you, how you can kind of like reshape your life, and figure out what it is that makes you happy in it. That's
Yeah.
important as well. Like through
Yeah.
that whole grief, what makes you happy, and hold on to that. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and for me, it's like me talking about my mum, writing about my parents. That's what makes me happy, because it's for me, that's my way of honoring them. But
Yeah.
for everyone else, it can be different. For you, it might be, it might be different. For you, it might be whatever it may be that keeps your dad's memory alive. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
Everyone is different, man.
Yeah. And I guess I'll say something very contradictory is just I don't know if happiness exists. Obviously I know if we do things and we feel a certain type of way, we feel good. But I don't know. Sometimes when we say happiness, it's like chasing ghosts. You know what I mean? It's like it almost feels like a myth. Like it's one of those things. Happiness, what is it? It's not something that can be defined. It's not something that's tangible. It's not something that can be touched. It feels like it's just what's there that has us
Mm,
chasing. Just
yeah.
learn to live in the moment. Learn to live life. Learn to enjoy now your peoples. You know the journey, the process,
Yeah.
and ultimately you should just live a more fruitful life. Um, yeah, I think it's
I, I, I,
because it's always like happiness. It feels like it's something you're always chasing. But if
yeah.
you're living in the moment, there's no need to chase because you're just living. But I don't know. That's
The
just something I've been
mm,
thinking about
no,
recently.
I think I agree to an extent, and the reason why I agree to an extent is because I feel like I see happiness more of a thing of like happiness is more of what you see it as, but I feel like with happiness is not a place. I think happiness is the journey, like
Yeah, yeah,
because because you will get to another like pit stop, and you keep going because it doesn't end in it. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
if you
That's
keep, like
it.
I said earlier, if you keep putting happiness as this thing of like, right, happiness is marriage, and I'm driving there. You get to that point of that let's say in terms of like analogy of like driving a car, you get to that service station, but you've actually you're like, okay, is this it? You're gonna
Yeah,
keep driving, so it's like
yeah,
okay, then it's like okay, what's the next place? What's the next place? What's the next
yeah,
place? So it's like it's a destination, and I feel like redefine it, man, because
yeah,
if you see it as like always something that you have to keep running towards, you're always
yeah,
gonna keep running.
yeah. And then it's not
Do you know what I mean?
happiness.
You're always gonna keep running. Yes, I know. Like in life, like when we think of like things of like from a worldly point of view, happiness is getting married and X amount of money, blah blah blah. And that's important. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I will never ever say like all these things are important. But bro, there's some people that why is it that, like, people with X amount of, like, like, are not happy, or like they say, you know what, I'm good at ABC, but I'm not really happy. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
Yeah.
bro, just forget all of that and just focus on, again, like I said, what is it, especially when you've gone through grief, what is it that's keeping you happy, and
Yeah.
cling on to that, and move with that. So it's not a case of like, that thing is a destination. You're moving with that. So whatever that might be, okay, cool. Like, and along the journey, just be thankful, and just keep redefining it. If you got to change it, how many times you got to change what happiness means to you, bro, do it. But if you keep chasing something, chances are you're never going to be satisfied, man.
Yeah.